G'day everybody. Well, time for a video. I sincerely apologise, I haven't actually been doing much with the channel. I've just been ridiculously tied up with work. It's literally just a case of come home, have dinner and go to sleep sort of thing. I've been that busy. But I've got a weekend, couple of days off, so I can actually get out here and do some stuff. Starting with a video on these two. I've been meaning to do a video on these for a long time because I got these ages ago. But I just figured I'd do the two in the one video and upload that. Starting with this fixture here. This is a yard blaster. These are very common over in America. Now, I did feature it very briefly in the video on the Sylvania B224. But I picked this one up off Amazon for about 60 bucks. It was reduced from about 220, so it was pretty good. And of course the cost to get it over here is what sort of put the price up a bit, but it's worth it though for what I was getting. It's not an original NEMA head or anything like those old ones I used to have in the 80s, but it's pretty close. It looks very similar. But I had to rip out the 120 volt ballast that was in it and put a proper tridonic ATCO 70 watt high pressure sodium and metal halide ballast and igniter and cap set in it. I'll take this refractor off in a minute and actually show you how I've set it up. It's fairly easy to do. But that's this one. The photocell does nothing. I had to completely bypass that because that's only 120 volts AC. Excuse the radio again, I'll turn that down. So yeah, it's just there really to just keep the weather out the top, so I do actually use this. I just stick it on a little wall mount that I put out the side of the shed and hang this on it, which is also what all that's about as well. So I'll plug that one in a minute. And I also got this one. This is from the UK. This is a Thorn Beta 5. This was a very common street light they had over there. They were never very popular here in Australia. We had the GEC Z4954. I think that's it. If it's wrong, somebody please correct me. But again, got this one off eBay for about $50, which is pretty damn good considering the condition it's in. It's in very good condition. Plastic clips intact. This is one of the more recent Beta 5s. The older ones, the old ones that were around in the 70s and 80s had a much deeper top cavity, ballast cavity, I suppose you call it, and also a deeper bowl which hung down a lot lower. So this one was made in the 90s, I estimate. It's by Thorn Lighting, and again I'll open it up in a minute and show you the insides. But this is a 35 watt low pressure sodium lamp, SOX. Very different to metal halide. Similar principle in terms of being a gas discharge lamp, but it's just got a very long arc tube and it's actually got solid sodium up in the end there, which evaporates and blends in with the argon buffer gas that's inside this arc tube. I'll get into that in a minute when I plug it in and you'll be able to see what it looks like, because these give some pretty awesome colours. So let's get the covers off both and we'll have a look at the insides. Here's the yard blaster internals. You can see the ballast, the cap and the igniter. I actually had to cut the welds on the original ballast because it was welded in for some reason. Well, probably just because they couldn't be bothered putting a proper screw and nut into it. So that's what I've actually done. I've just drilled and tapped a couple of new bolt holes after smoothing out the rest of the weld, and then I've bolted another bit of plate on which the ballast and the other gears attached to. You can just undo these two here and pull a whole lot out at once if I need to. So it's very I'm really pleased with how this lot fitted in. I did have a bit of a concern about whether I'll be able to get it all in, but it fits fine. Got plenty of room to spare as well, plenty of ventilation room. There's the refractor, which is very, very thin material. Like ridiculously thin. That's the same material as what your barbecue pans are made out of, those aluminium foil things. Pretty cheap, but it works, it holds. I mean, like I said, I only paid about 60 bucks for it, so what do you really expect? It's just a very crude pressure Castelli housing. But it holds, and it works. Here's the Beta 5. Tridonic Atco ballast. Can run a 35 and a 55 watt lamp. Made in the EU. And there's the PFC cap. Just get a bit of a focus on that. 8 microfarad, 250 volt AC. And then there's the igniter, which it looks the same as the other one that's in that yard blaster, but it's not, because these can only run SOX lamps. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm guessing these ones actually put out a higher ignition voltage than those other ones do for metal halide. Or it could be the other way around, I'm really not sure, but I think I read somewhere that that was the case with these. But that's just bolted on. It's very service friendly in terms of its setup. This whole lot just hinges out. There's 2 little grub screws here, allow you to put it on a spigot and then secure it firmly without it coming off. Just get a hold of that label as well. QB5, Beta 5, Mark 12. I think there was a lot of different models of it. 35 watt SOX. It's a bayonet fitting B22D. It's a nice ceramic holder on there. And here's the lamp. There's the electrodes there inside the arc tube. There's solid sodium inside that. They use neon as a buffer gas to actually get the arc started, and then that's what heats up the sodium, which evaporates and forms the vapor. There's that label there as well. It's an Osram SOX Plus 35 watt, made in Great Britain. The most efficient light source on the planet. Such a shame that they had to kill these off. All that LED crap. I'll save you from that rant though. It's not worth me getting pissed off about it. There's a Zodion photocell. Yeah, it still works. I've had that turn the thing off in broad daylight. So I have run this lamp before quite often. But, I'll put them back together and we'll put some power to them. This one does take a while to warm up, but give you just a bit of a look at what the awesome colours are that these SOX lamps give off. I do love these. Alrighty, let's turn them on. Yeah, it also pays to put something over the photocell, because otherwise they will turn off pretty quickly. That's the neon buffer gas. That one's already warming up pretty quickly. It's not actually flickering, by the way, it's just the camera. And it's not actually that green either on camera. Off camera, sorry. Yeah, you do sort of see why metal halide was preferred for street lighting. Need mercury vapour is simply because of the warm-up time was a lot quicker. That one's already pretty much up to full brightness now. The Beta 5 may take a while to come up to temperature. And get caught on my camera stand. I'll jump forward to when that one's warmed up and we'll have a look at full brightness. Well, it's pretty much full brightness. That lovely orange monochromatic glow. Focus. The way it turns everything different colour. That's what I love about SOX lamps. The Yard Blaster's been running for a while now. It's not getting hot. That lamp's rated for universal burn position, by the way, so you can turn it whichever way you want and it'll still run. Some of them are position orientated, so you can only run them one way, sort of thing. So also do be careful of that. But SOX doesn't generally hurt. But, anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.